It's 7:10 a.m.
It's 7:10 a.m.
Time to wakey wakey and time for bakey.
Time to wakey wakey and time for bakey.
Get ready for your host with more.
Get ready for your host with more.
Mr. Brian Brown.
Mr. Brian Brown.
It's 7:10 a.m.
It's 7:10 a.m.
Que la roja bichuela y cuando le no viene ligado igualito que yuca. Ese pelo que tiene tan lindo, no venga a pensar que eso es una peluca. Tiene cotorra perico, yo tengo cotorra, tú tienes la cuca. Está claro en el ring, en el piso yo que
No critiques mi pelo, que la soy bueno, porque tú no tienes que de odio tú estás lleno. No critiques mi pelo, que la soy bueno, porque tú no tienes que de odio tú estás lleno. No critiques mi pelo, que la soy bueno, porque tú no tienes que de odio tú estás lleno. No critiques mi pelo, que la soy bueno, porque tú no tienes que de...
Oh yeah, good morning. Welcome everybody to the 7:10 a.m. Wakey Wakey. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, guys. How's everyone doing? We got the chat working. Let's see here. There we go. Baker, good morning. How are you? That's a good message to see this morning. How's everyone doing? Oh, on this Paranormal Tuesday, guys, I'm dragging. It was everything to get out of bed this morning. Man, the weather is getting a little cooler. I was just like, I do not want to get up out of bed. But here we go, guys. We gotta have the 7:10 a.m. morning show. It is what we do. So we're gonna roll into it, guys. How's everyone doing? It is Tuesday. Oh man, craziness out there in the world. This Israel thing. Holy crap, man. People getting murdered at music festivals and man, it's just crazy. It is just crazy out there. All sorts of nuts going on. Man, I think you know what? We're in a good position. Let's just kick back, smoke some weed, and let the world just do what it's gonna do. Man, such a crazy thing. But hey, at least we got each other. At least we're safe. Hey, at least that's one thing, man. We live in a country where we are safe, thank God. So let's appreciate that. Oh, am I getting? It's always something. All right, hang on for a second, guys. I gotta charge this up. Hang on one second. All right. Anything can happen when you're live, guys. Anything can happen. All right. Headphones going dead. Trying to find a USB. What the hell? Hang on. Jesus. I swear to God, man. Hang on, guys. Fucking can't. Nothing can just be fucking easy this morning. Hang on one second. Jesus. All right. There we go. All right. We are charging. We are good to go. I need to get me some fuzzy socks, and my daughter stole all mine, and she moved out. Fuzzy socks are the best when it's cold, man. We gotta love those fuzzy socks. Oh, I got my Jimmy Johns. I am a wreck this morning, guys. I am a wreck. All right, guys. It is Paranormal Tuesday, and we're going to be getting into some spooky, all-time, creepy ghost stories, guys. We're talking poltergeist. We're talking the worst of the worst. We're talking just the craziest stories, guys. Chairs moving, tables moving, all sorts of craziness. We're going to get into that this morning, guys. But first, let's get a little roll call. We got a few people up in here. It's Tuesday morning. Everyone's sleeping in, man. People decided to put those covers up. It must be nice. All right, guys, let's get into a roll call this morning. All right, Danksters assemble. Here we go, guys. We got roll call. We got a few people up in here this morning. Let's get to them. Oh, not that one. All right, let's get up. Not that one again. Here we go. What the hell? All right, there we go. Here we go. Good morning. Good morning. We got Supernova in the house. Supernova Mike, my buddy. How you doing, Supernova? How's the business going, man? Hadn't talked to you in a minute. We need to get together. Lonnie, how's it going, Lonnie? Good morning. Lonnie's up and at 'em this morning. How are those plants looking, Lonnie? We got Baker, one of my favorites in here this morning. Good morning. Good morning, Holly. We got Harley, guys. The birthday countdown has begun. You got 4 days. 4 days over there, guys. We got Chris Zucchini in the house. Good morning, Chris. How are you? How are you doing, buddy? Oh, man, we got a bunch of people up in here this morning, guys. Nice, nice, nice. Business is picking up. That's awesome, man. Yeah, solar. Mike's Supernova Mike is doing like he cleans solar panels, all that. Man's it's getting big out there. Solar's going everywhere. Great idea, man. Woo, don't steal his idea, guys. No, good business plan. Great idea. Hey, good morning, Chantel. Good morning. There's the danksta. There's the danksta. Oh man, so yeah, I dig Mike's business plan, man. I think that's a good idea. He saw it before we all did. Good for him. Good for him. Glad the business is going good. All right, guys, we are gonna get into a little something I like to call today in history, guys, because if we don't know the history, we're doomed to repeat it. That is right. Look back at what's going on with these wars and stuff, man. If we would have just did a little more, paid more attention to our history, maybe we could have avoided this stuff. But let's get into it, guys. Today in history.
Today in history, a journey through time where legends are born and secrets intertwine. Join us at 7:10 a.m. for all to see as we unravel the histories from our history.
All right, guys. Today in history, brought to you by the Healing Center, 1400 Needles Highway, Needles, California. Save some green on some green, guys. We got wild weekly deals dropping today. You got 2 deals already up, guys. Jump on over there. They're going to throw a third one at you. A weekly deal. It's really fire. Wait till you see this, guys. All right, let's get into today in history, guys. All right. For 1010. We got some birthdays, guys. We got some birthdays. I got to be careful how I word this. I don't want to be sued. All right. So first up, guys, we got Giuseppe Verdi, Italian composer, was born in 1813. We got Brett Favre, American football player, welfare stealer, allegedly. I don't know if you guys know about the Brett Favre scandal. It appears Um, it appears he was involved in some shady stuff to take welfare money from welfare recipients and put it towards like a gymnasium for his daughter for volleyball. There's a lot of allegations, but yeah, not a good look for old Brett Favre. Nora Roberts, 1950, American novelist. Then we got Howard Pinter. You guys, what's your favorite Howard Pinter drama? He's a British dramatist. I don't know does he just go around creating drama? Um, Thelonious Monk, American music man, was born in 1917. And then R.K. Narawan, Indian author, was born in 1906. So let's see what else. 1845, guys. Founding of the U.S. Naval Academy to improve the unsatisfactory methods of instructing midshipmen. George Bancroft, historian, educator, and Secretary of the Navy, founded the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, on this day in 1845. 2010, the Netherlands, formerly a part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in the Caribbean, was officially dissolved. American filmmaker, one of my favorites, Orson Welles, the greatest filmmaker of all time, perhaps, who notably wrote, directed, and produced and acted in Citizen Kane, one of the most influential films of all time, died at age 70. Horrible, horrible. Wayne Gretzky, Canadian hockey player, made his NHL debut with the Oilers. Probably one of the greatest hockey players of all time, if not the greatest. What do you got? You got Vice President Spiro Agnew resigned from office and pled no contest to the charge of filing a report or failing to report 30,000 in income while governor of Maryland. Oh, Agnew, Spiro Agnew. Fiji gained independence from Great Britain. Let's see. The British spy film From Russia with Love premiere in London, and the second film of the James Bond franchise. It's considered one of the best in the series. American classic Giant had its world premiere. Its saga was especially notable for being the last movie James Dean, who died in a car accident shortly after, had completed. Yeah, Giant. If you haven't seen that, young. Oh, what's her name? She had all the husbands. Darn it, can't think of what her name is now. But yeah, young her. Man, it's a good movie, classic. George Gershwin's opera Porgy and Bess opened on Broadway. American, we already covered that one. Let's see. A group of revolutionaries launched an uprising in Wangchung, China, which many regard as the formal beginning of the Chinese Revolution and national democracy revolt that overthrew the Qing dynasty. And then that was in 1911. And then in 1846, American astronomer William Lasley discovered Triton, the largest satellite of the planet Neptune. That was in 1846. So that was your Today in History, guys. Whoop, whoop. All right, we got a bunch of new people up in here. Hey, oh man, couldn't tell if I had to sneeze or cough or all the above. Hey Charlie, good morning. How was the concert, man? John Phantom in the house. I've fought in a long war on marijuana, had many injuries for the sake of pot. Honey Nut Heroine, good morning. Marvin the Martian, or Marvin the Mojave Martian, what's up? Wait till you see what we're going to be doing with Mojave Martian, guys. We got some good stuff. Concert was kick ass. What was the best part? If you guys didn't know, Charlie just got back from a massive show, a festival. Sounded pretty awesome. How was Ozzy? Was Ozzy everything? Got money in my pocket. Don't know where it came from. Tune in Friday the 13th for special horror, guys. Yeah, I'm actually going to be on their horror show, I believe, on the 13th. So make sure you're checking out the Mod Squad, guys, for their horror show. They're going to have a Friday the 13th bundle. And then the next day, it's Harley's birthday, and she's giving away that dual Scream sign, guys. So make sure you check that out. All right, guys, let's see what we got cooking here. See what we got cooking. Let's see. Give me 1 second here, guys. We are getting into the craziest paranormal hauntings. All right. All right. Huh. That might be a good one. Here we go. We are going to be looking at 11 of the scariest ghost stories from Reddit, guys. So these are Reddit users that are sharing their experiences. Some of these are pretty creepy. Some of these are pretty creepy, guys. So let me kill the chat for a second so we don't lose it. We're going to share the screen. And look at that. Acting like we know what we're doing, guys. Acting like we know what we are doing. All right, these are 11 of the scariest ghost stories, guys, or we're just going to say ghost stories. I don't know if we'll get through all 11 of them. These are from Reddit. These are people. These are some of the craziest ones. We're talking poltergeist. We're talking things moving. We're talking craziness, guys. All right. It wasn't a little girl. I was camping with my husband. You guys didn't know I had a husband. Yeah. His name is Brett. He's a big, strong man. No, I was camping with my husband and his family at a small remote lake in New Mexico. There were about 10 people in our group and another group of 6 people in the next campsite. It was nighttime and both groups were doing typical activities, making s'mores, having drinks, telling stories. And when we all heard what sounded like a little girl yelling out for help, 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 screams through the forest, guys. Neither group had children with them, but we were all positive we were hearing a little girl and decided to search the area we heard the noises from together. There was a field behind our campsite, and we all saw a very tall, pure white figure standing maybe 100 feet away from us in the field making the noises. We all agreed this thing looked maybe 6 foot tall, skinny, and white as white can be. We made our way closer to investigate, but whatever it was started backing off as we got closer and disappeared into the trees. All night we continued to hear a little girl calling for help as we tried to sleep. How eerie is that, man? Like like of all the things too, like someone calling out for help, like that's gotta be um like one of the craziest things, right? Like you're trying to sleep and you just hear a little girl, "Yay, good morning, Mr. Crispers, good morning." Tool was awesome. Metallica rocked. Ozzy didn't show. Judas Priest took his spot. Nice, man. Nice. See that Ozzy's out there looking for ghosts with his kid. He couldn't come. Um, but man, Judas, how was Judas Priest? Man, I've never seen them live. I would imagine they put on a pretty good show. Nice, nice, Charlie. I bet you Metallica. Woo! I bet you that's a once in a lifetime show. Those Metallica guys. Those Metallicas. All right, guys. Let's get into this next one. The Walking Dead. I'm a psychiatric nurse, and early in my career, I worked at a residential mental health facility. One of our residents was a elective mute, which means that he couldn't talk, but there was no medical reasons as to why. He had spoken earlier in his life and in fact seemed quite normal back then. With the exception of being close to 7 foot tall. Are we talking Michael Myers here? What's going on? The Halloween origin stories. Um, he had been raised in the deep south and joined the military when he was 19. But one night he vanished. He was declared AWOL and eventually was declared missing and dead. 10 years later, a 7 foot tall man walked into a VA hospital emergency room in part of the Midwest, and said to the receptionist, "My name is Marion Duchesne, not real name, and I've been dead for 10 years." Those were the last words he ever spoke. He was covered in dust and he was wearing the same clothes he had been reported to be wearing the night he vanished. His social security number had not been used and he had no identification um, on his person. However, they were able to identify him, I guess, via fingerprints, and the family was notified. But they said they had grieved their lost man, and whoever was claiming to be him simply could not be. They demanded not to be contacted again. Marion, why would you do that? Wouldn't you be interested on who this dude is? Wouldn't you want to come down and like check it out? Um, the family was notified, but they said they were already grieved. Marion paced all day, every day, moving his mouth that looked like talking or muttering, but no sound came out. He had an unwavering habit of throwing his head back with his mouth wide open as if he were laughing heartily, but not even a breath could be heard. If I talked to him, he appeared to listen, throwing back his head in laughter, mimicking way of his. Various medications were tried, but they did not affect him either positively or negatively. Occupational therapy did not do anything because Marion would just grin, and unless you told him to stay put, he'd get up and start pacing again. On my last day of the job, the last thing I saw was Marion pacing in the parking lot, throwing his head back to laugh. Later, I wonder if all along I'd been dealing with a ghost. All these years later, I still don't know. That's kind of creepy. If you put it in like that, like maybe it was just a ghost the whole time. Yeah, that's crazy. That is, I don't know what to feel about that one. All right, guys, let's get into this next one. The unrest stop. I was driving yeah, those rest stops can be freaking, yeah, they can be nasty. They can not be nice. They can be nasty, guys. All sorts of weird stuff happens at rest stops. I was driving across country with my mom and sister when I was 16, and my sister was 20. It was late, but we were all well rested, still and alert. We were driving along the interstate and needed gas and a bathroom break, so we stopped at the only rest stop in 200 miles. There was a van full of teenagers on a road trip at the gas station, as well as a small gray car parked at the pump in front of us, with two young men standing still outside of it. When we got there, everything felt wrong. We'd been on the road for days and seen many rest stops at night and had never been afraid until then. My mom and sister went inside and I stayed in the car. I heard these teenagers say they were creeped out and couldn't get the pump to work, and they left in a hurry. I was watching the car in front of us and two men had not moved at all. I want to say we've read this one before. Not an inch. They were talking. They weren't on phones. They were just standing there, still as stone. My sister and mom came running out. Um, they had a dark pitch. Oh, sorry, guys. I was reading that. Um, let's see. My sister and mom came back out. Sorry, guys. When they got in, the two men slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies. I swear it was to fucking shit. We all saw the same thing. They had eyes dark as pitch and empty, truly empty, not black, not reflecting any light at all, just the void. We sped out of there, did not stop until we got to the next city. The worst thing about the entire experience is we couldn't find the place on any map. We knew exactly which spot on the interstate to look. We couldn't find it on Google Maps or any paper maps we had. Even to ask the locals about the creepy gas station out on that stretch of road and only get confused looks. We traveled on that interstate since, and there is no rest stop. Ooh, scary, guys, scary. All right. It came for us in the graveyard. We were driving my friend's really old beat up Subaru through a massive graveyard. We stopped and walked down a hill and came across a little pond. There was someone sitting on a rock on the other side of the pond. The figure was all black and we couldn't make out any features other than the fact that it looked like a man who was wearing some old style top hat. We stupidly waved and shouted, "Hi!" And he didn't show any acknowledgement and continued to sit still on the rock. All of a sudden, he jumped to his feet and started running to us on the water, and then vanished in thin water about halfway on the pond. My friend and I screamed and ran back to the car. The car wouldn't start, and we heard something banging on the back of the car. It was a constant bang, but every few seconds so we would hear nobody was outside the car. We could see it in the dark, but something had we couldn't see it in the dark, but something was making a noise on the car. I opened my phone and started dialing my mom to come get us, to give us a boost, but I had no service. None of us had any cell service. The next 30 minutes were spent trying to get the car started. No banging was heard afterwards, but we felt the heavy pressure around us. Finally, the car started and she hit the pedal to the metal, and we sped out into the graveyard so fast, immediately crossing the gates. All of our phones regained cell service. One thing I know for certain is that someone or something was out there, and it was not animal or human. Ooh. All right, guys, let's try this one. Evicted by a ghost. Shortly after college, I got married. We immediately moved into a basement apartment because that's all that was available within our budget. The place had a poltergeist, and my wife was terrified. Whatever resided there with us made it clear it wanted us to leave. It wanted to leave alone. Dishes, glasses, and other items would fly off the shelves. My wife was hit several times. There was always an ominous feeling like we were being watched. At night, when we walked through the apartment in the dark, there would be insanely bright flashes of light that would illuminate the entire room. One night while we were going to bed, as soon as my wife and I walked into a bedroom, we heard a voice from out of nowhere say my name, move. My wife looked at me, I looked at her, I said loudly, you got it, bud. And we moved out 2 days later and stayed with my family. The old lady who owned the place died a few months later, and the house was torn down. It's still an empty lot to this day, but nothing but grass and a tree. I still drive by every now and again. Oh man. What would you guys? What would you get? Rosie, how you doing? How you doing? Oh shit. I did. I started it on the wrong one. That's what the problem was. We're on the dumbest criminals. That was the old one, and it was supposed to be the poultry. Oh man, that was my fault. That was my fault. My fault, guys. Um, so yeah, think about it, guys. You got a poltergeist in this little apartment telling you to move. Would you just be like, "You got it, buddy. Peace out"? Yeah, I think if I heard a voice telling me to move, unembodied voice, yeah, I think I would be done. I don't think I would be messing around at all. All right, guys. You know what? That's got me thinking. That's got me thinking, guys. Let's look at some poltergeists. Poltergeists caught on film, guys. We're gonna watch some caught on camera. All right. Let's see, Mr. Nightmare. He's pretty good. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go Mr. Nightmare. He's pretty good. Actually, I think we've seen this one before. Have we? How old is this? Bear with me, guys. 8 years old. Yeah, we need to find a more suitable videos. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Um, let me see. All right, guys, we're going to look at 3 disturbing Ouija board stories real quick, or a couple at least. Um, this is from Mr. Nightmare. He has a great channel, guys. Let's go ahead and blow this up here. Boom. Let's not blow this up yet. Switch back here. All right, here we go, guys. Here we go. Let me kill the chat real quick. And then we are going to share the screen. All right. There we go. We're cooking with fire now. Is that what they say? Cooking with gas. All right, here we go, guys. These are going to be a couple Ouija stories we're going to hear.
A surprising amount of people have Ouija boards just sitting in their closets somewhere collecting dust, and most people probably have never even used them. I found out what Ouija boards are when I was 16, and when I asked my parents if we had one in our house, my mom told me yes, she did have one buried somewhere in the closet with all the board games. That closet was in the basement by the laundry room, the small closet with a bunch of my parents' old stuff. I was intrigued to try using a Ouija board because I was slightly superstitious.
Oh, man.
I had my mom help me dig through this closet without disrupting the integrity and neatness of how she sorted everything in there. And lo and behold, eventually she finds this old dusty box that simply said Ouija and had two hands holding the piece that moves around the board called the planchette. The box was
How many of you guys remember the first time you played with a Ouija board? Blow up those comments, guys. Let me know. When's the first time that you, was it through your parents? Was it through at a friend's house? Did you anything happen? Blow up those comments for me, guys.
kind of falling apart on the edges, even though my mom said they'd only used it a couple times ever. The first thing I did was text a few of my friends to come use the Ouija board with me that weekend when I'd be home alone, to make it scarier. My friend Liam, who was 17, had a car, so he picked up my friend Jack and they came right over. It was like 9 p.m. It was dark out, obviously, and my parents were gone for a couple nights. My younger brother of 2 years, Adam, was also home, so I asked him to join as well. We were going to play on the floor in the loft, which was converted into my bedroom. We turned off the lights and then turned on a flashlight and put it on the floor in the corner of the room, pointed towards the board. All four of us sat on one side of the board and we held the planchette and started asking questions. None of us had ever done this before, so we asked basic questions. I said, if there's someone there, move the planchette. Then for the first time, it started to move to the word yes. Adam asked, how old are you? And the planchette moved from the number 6 to 7. 67. Looked at each other, and while I suspected one of them were moving it, and I'm sure the others did too, we all played along and didn't break immersion. We took turns asking questions. Eventually, I asked the board, are you a demon? And the planchette went to the word yes.
See, that's the problem with Ouija boards, is that you got to trust the people that you're using, especially when you're a teenager. You know, people are moving that thing. They're messing with you. Come on. That's the problem with Ouija board, is that you're trusting everyone in the group to not be screwing with you. So I mean, like, if you're doing it by yourself, which I don't recommend, you know, that's a little different, but man, yeah, you got to trust the people you're with, and you know someone's messing with you.
At this point, we all laughed and broke immersion, knowing one of us was messing around. At that moment, the flashlight turned off, and all of us stopped laughing and got really scared. Who did that? Someone asked. But it was clearly none of us. The flashlight was all the way in the corner. I crawled to get it and kept pressing the button. It wouldn't turn back on. I turned on my bedside lamp, and I saw the freaked out expressions on my friend's and brother's face. I said that was the most terrifying moment for the battery to die, but also part of me believed it wasn't a coincidence. We stopped playing after that moment, and we even left my room and went to the backyard just because we were all freaked out being in the house at that moment. I had to sleep in that room that night though, and when my friends left and Adam eventually went to sleep, I knew I had to as well. I put the Ouija board back in the box and brought it downstairs out of my room. I just felt weird sleeping in the same room as it that night. As soon as I turned off the light, I just tried to go away, not sitting on my phone for an hour or whatever, like I usually do. As I was starting to finally drift off into a half-sleep state, something in my closet fell over. I immediately rose up and looked in the direction of the closet door. I flicked on the bedside lamp and walked over to the closet. It was a small walk-in closet where I kept some of my clothes. There's a light switch on the outside of the closet that turned on a single light bulb inside of it. I flicked it on and looked down at the crack at the bottom of the door. There were what looked to be two shadows cast by feet on the other side of the door.
Oh, hell no.
As soon as I saw this, I started screaming at him and ran to his room. I explained to him what I just saw and led him to my room to show him. When he came to my room, the light in the closet was still on, but the shadows at the bottom of the door weren't there anymore. I opened the door, and there was nobody in the closet, but there was something on the floor. It was a wooden box that I made in arts and crafts that I would put childhood memorabilia in. It somehow fell over and the contents spilled onto the floor. There is no draft in the world that would have knocked that over.
Oh,
It made no
man.
logical sense. I slept in my parents' bed that night and then the next, and for a week after that I slept in the spare bedroom. Eventually I would start sleeping in my own bed again, but I would never forget that night. I haven't touched a Ouija board since.
Nope, I would not either.
It's a fact. In the new economy, average
What?
people are becoming millionaires faster and easier than ever.
They're coming millionaires, guys. Millionaires, I tell you. Becoming millionaires. All right, guys. This is going to be our last story. Let's get into it. More Ouija.
I had never used a Ouija board until I was in my mid-20s. It was never something that interested me. But my friend George was very briefly talking to this girl who was into that sort of thing. Her name was Mandy.
Always
She was
a
into
girl.
exploring abandoned and allegedly haunted places. One day he invited me to go with them and her friend to this apparently haunted abandoned house about a half-hour drive away. He guaranteed me the friend was cute in order to entice me to go. I didn't have anything going on that night, so I said, why not? We would be doing this late at night. George picked me up first around 11 p.m., and then we drove to pick up the girls from this park. I had already met Mandy once, but not her friend. Her friend Carly had red hair, a nose ring, and sleeve on her right arm. Mandy had already been to this house before, and she
Have a
said
good
it was
morning,
high in
Chantel.
activity. A term I'd never heard till that point, but obviously could put together what she meant. I smiled a bit as she said it because I honestly laughed to myself. I don't believe in the paranormal myself, so I found it a little humorous. Mandy brought this big bag with her, so during the drive I asked what's inside. And then she goes and pulls out this box. A Ouija board box. And then she pulls out a candle. Then George said, "Oh, that's the surprise." Apparently her surprise to George was that we would be using a Ouija board in this abandoned house. I'm gonna be honest, that didn't sound super fun to me, but I was there for the adventure. Mandy directed George where to park when we got close. It was this really dark street with no streetlights, with an open field on one side and trees on the other. The house driveway was gated off, so we had to walk from there. We walked through some woods that led us to the backyard of the house. From there, Mandy led us to the back window that she climbed through last time. It was a bit high up, so we had to help the girls up. Then we just climbed in ourselves, and we walked around the
See, I don't know. Like, okay, Ouija board's one thing, but you want to go to some haunted, abandoned fucking place and play with the Ouija board? No, that's all on you. I ain't doing that.
house for a
No,
bit.
No.
All the furniture was still inside, but it was just decrepit. It hadn't been lived in for probably decades. I don't scare easily, and I must admit, being in there at night was very eerie. It would probably be terrifying alone. It was dead silent besides our footsteps on the creaky floors. There were some old portraits of people hung on the wall. It looked like they were taken in the 50s, which made me wonder how old this house was and what was the story behind it. Most likely the couple living there died and there was no family left to claim the house. Mandy set up the board on the floor and she lit these 2 candles. I could tell she was really into this stuff. She took lead with this, asking a bunch of spiritual questions. The planchette piece didn't move for the first few questions as she kept asking, is anyone there, can anyone hear, etc. Eventually, it started to spell out the word hello. I laughed and looked at George, who laughed back, but the girls were serious and even said stop laughing. Out of respect, I did stop smiling and put a serious face on. Mandy asked, what's your name? And the planchette moved around the board slowly to spell out the name Gregory. She then asked, how long have you been dead? And then it moved around to spell out 30 years. I didn't believe any of this for a second. I knew Mandy or Carly were doing this. This went on for some time, and we played along. until there was a huge thump from upstairs in the house.
No.
We all
Hell
jumped
no.
and let go of the planchette. George said, "Is someone up there?" And Mandy insisted it could be Gregory. Mandy and Carly put their hands back on the planchette and asked, "Gregory, did you make that sound?" And George and I stopped her and said we need to leave if someone's upstairs. Then we watched as the planchette moved to the word yes. At this point, George and I were convinced the girls were pranking us, and that they had someone upstairs trying to scare us. Then we heard footsteps above us.
No,
There was no
creepy.
denying these sounds were footsteps.
Creepy with the
George
sound
and I
effects.
agreed to go upstairs and check it out, expecting to find someone trying to prank us. The girls kept saying, "No, come back down." We went up the extremely creaky steps and entered the first open door we found. It was a bedroom. The furniture and everything in the room was extremely decayed. And then there was this door, right in the corner of the room. Most likely a closet. It was cracked open, and we whispered to each other that we thought we heard something in the closet. I put my finger up to my lips to tell him to be quiet, and we listened. When we heard a clear exhale behind the door, we both quickly left the room.
Nope.
We hurried downstairs, expecting to find the girls still in the living room, but they were gone. The candles, the Ouija board, everything. There was just darkness in the house now. We didn't
Hell
even hear
no.
them sneak out. We left through the window again in a hurry and ran to the car. George tried calling Mandy's phone multiple times, but it went straight to voicemail every time.
What
She
the
blocked
hell?
him. They were nowhere to be found either. We went straight to the car and drove home. George never heard from that girl again. He only hung out with her 2 times. He didn't know where she lived or anything. We did form our own crazy theory that they were in fact trying to trap us somehow, and the footsteps upstairs were from somebody they knew. It's also possible they never left the house, and that they were hiding somewhere inside. The more superstitious out there may believe that we did in fact speak to a spirit though, and something more supernatural was going on.
Wow, that one is a creepy one. What do you guys think of that one? That one was different. Oh man. I could totally see something like that going down. Like I don't know about you guys, when I was a teenager, you would meet girls and you'd go out and drink or whatever out in the forest. And sometimes they'd bounce on you. Sometimes, not like literally bounce, but you guys know. Well, sometimes they would. And yeah, that's so crazy. So nothing to do with paranormal. And this is gonna you gotta be like, what the hell kind of people were you hanging out with, Brian? So I've had one friend and one acquaintance, and we would meet girls. You'd meet like a group of girls, 2, and there's 2 guys, 3 guys, 3 girls, and you know how teenagers do it. You guys break off, and you guys end up hooking up and all this stuff. So on 2 different occasions with 2 different people, I've had this happen where we meet there. This is like teenage years, this is a long time ago. But I've always wondered what could have possibly happened to cause this. So I had one friend who was a little odd, maybe around girls. Like he liked girls, but maybe just a little too much. So I don't know. But so we meet these 2 girls, and we end up going our separate ways. We're at the lake, and me and the one go this way, and him and the other. Well, all of a sudden, this girl just comes running out and saying, "Hell no, hell no!" Grabs her friend and leaves. I never asked my friend, "What the fuck did you do?" These girls were good to go. Everyone was happy. Everyone was good to go. We go in our separate corner. What could you have possibly done to scare off a girl who was into you? I always wondered that. And then another guy who wasn't my friend, just some guy, same thing. Girl comes running, "Oh, hell no," this and that. And I always wonder, like, what are you doing? Maybe I'm just not a big weirdo and I don't know what they're doing, but man, I always wondered that. That's what that story reminded me of. When you meet girls and all of a sudden they just disappear on you. Like you take them to a place. He tried to enter through the back. I would not, you know what? I thought that, but I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just crazy. I've always wondered that. But yeah, I could totally see, like, you go to a abandoned house with 2 girls. We used to do mine shafts which sounds so weird. We go to abandoned mines and go exploring. Never lost anyone in there because I mean you just wouldn't leave anyone. But I could totally see like going to an abandoned house, doing something like that, and the girls just disappearing and you never see them again. I remember one time we met these girls and they got an apartment complex, hung out with them for the night. We drank a little bit. Everything was good. They go in a casino. No, they didn't go, not yet. So my friend decides that he's gonna throw up all in my car. So we got these two girls. Everything's going good. We just met them. They're liking us. They think we're funny. Things are gonna happen, and he just rouse all in the back of my car. I'm just talking, just all over the back of it. So he's embarrassed. He doesn't want to stick around. So the girls are like, they're cool about it too. They're just like, whatever, dude, you know. So we end up going to a casino, the Aquarius. It was Flamingo at the time, and they have to go in to do something. They're going to use the bathroom or something. So my friend convinces me to leave them there. He's like, dude, I gotta go, my stomach. So I'm like, it's my buddy. So we end up leaving him at the casino, which is a bad thing. And one girl's shoes are in my car. It was a bad scene. But yeah, I always remember that. I felt bad. I still feel bad leaving him over in Laughlin. But what can you do? It was 30 years ago. It was 30 years ago. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. That was spooky. Sorry about the wrong video. I clicked on an old one and we just went live. I didn't even check it. All right, guys, I appreciate you so much. We're going to be talking giveaways at the 420 show today, guys. I just kind of threw this one together. I did not want to wake up this morning, but we got it. We got a great day ahead of us, guys. So what I need you to do is remember to pay it forward, breathe in that positivity, exhale that negativity, guys. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day. Total stoner move. It really was, Lonnie. It really was. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate you. What do you guys think of this new artwork I've been working on? Look at this. Boom. And we got this one as well. I like it. I think it's pretty good. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate you. We will be back at 4:20 for Paranormal Tuesday, guys. We got a good one in store for you. Make sure you tune it in. I will see you guys at 4:20 today. Take care of yourself, and I will be in touch. All right, we'll see you guys.
Thank you for joining us on the It's 420 Somewhere podcast. Broadcasting worldwide and brought to you by thedailydank.com. Check out our merchandise and amazing content. And follow us on all our social media. Now, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.